When an average hockey fan watches a goalie, it all looks simple. A guy in big pads trying to stop a puck. But when you really look closer, you see something different. These aren't just goalies. These are walls with reflexes. They're calm in chaos, sharp under pressure, and sometimes they win games all on their own. You might think stopping pucks is all about size or stats, but that's not the whole story. Some of the best goalies didn't win the most cups. Others changed the game forever without ever lifting the trophy. So today, we're not just counting rings or numbers. We're counting impact, the way they made fans feel, the saves that made jaws drop. This list isn't about good goalies, it's about the best to ever do it. But before we jump into this countdown, please make sure to like and subscribe, because these took countless hours of research and editing. Here are the top 10 best goalies in NHL history. Roberto Luongo, one of the best goalies to never win a Stanley Cup. He played over 1,000 games in the NHL, something only a few goalies have ever done. Most of his career was spent with the Florida Panthers and the Vancouver Canucks, where he became the heart of the team. In Vancouver, he wore the C on his jersey. Yes, a goalie was named team captain. That almost never happens. Luongo wasn't just good, he was consistent. For years, he carried teams that had no business winning. He holds the second most wins in NHL history without a cup and ranks second all-time in saves made. In 2011, he helped lead the Canucks to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. It didn't end the way he wanted, but he still gave the team its best playoff run in decades. Off the ice, fans loved him for being funny and down-to-earth. He even had a secret Twitter account where he'd make jokes and talk like a regular guy, not a pro athlete. He was also a two-time Olympic gold medalist for Team Canada, including 2010 when he took over for Brodeur and helped win it all in Vancouver. Luongo was calm, sharp, and tough as nails. He didn't win the big one, but he earned respect from every player he faced. And in 2022, he got what he truly deserved, a spot in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Number 9. Tony Esposito, the man who brought style to the crease. Tony O, as fans called him, wasn't just a great goalie. He helped change how goalies played. He was one of the first to really use the butterfly style, dropping to his knees to cover the bottom of the net. Today it's normal, but back then it looked weird, until it started working. He started his NHL career with the Montreal Canadiens, playing 13 games, but he became a legend in Chicago after being claimed by the Blackhawks in the 1969 Intra-League Draft. In his first season with Chicago, he recorded 15 shutouts. That's not a typo. 15 shutouts in one season. A number no modern goalie has even come close to. He won the Calder Trophy as Rookie of the Year and the Vezina as Best Goalie in the same year. That's the kind of entrance you don't forget. Esposito played over 15 years, made 5 All-Star teams, and ended with over 400 wins. But what really made him special was how calm he looked, like nothing rattled him. He wore a plain white mask that made him look like a ghost standing in net, just waiting for a shot to come. He was also a huge part of Team Canada in the famous 1972 Summit Series against the Soviet Union. Every save he made wasn't just for a team, it felt like it was for the whole country. Tony Esposito wasn't flashy off the ice, but on it, he helped define what a modern goalie could be. Number 8. Grant Fuhr, the goalie who mastered mayhem. When you played for the 1980s Edmonton Oilers, you didn't expect much help on defense. That team had Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, and Jari Kurri. They weren't interested in blocking shots, they were too busy scoring goals by the dozen. So who was left to deal with every odd man rush, every rebound, every breakdown? That would be Grant Fuhr. He was fast, flexible, unshakably calm in the middle of total chaos. Sure, his goals against average wasn't always pretty, but that's because he faced a shooting gallery every night. What made Fuhr special wasn't just the saves, it was when he made them. Big moments, high pressure, everything on the line, and Fuhr always delivered. He backstopped the Oilers to 5 Stanley Cups. And when Gretzky was traded to the Kings, LA wanted Fuhr too. The Oilers said no. That's how crucial he was. He was also a trailblazer, the NHL's first black superstar goalie. In a league with very little diversity at the time, Fuhr stood tall and proved that greatness has no color. Off the ice, he had his battles, and including a suspension in the early 90s. But he came back, played in over 800 games, and racked up 403 career wins. Grant Fuhr may not have had the flashiest numbers, but he had something better: the respect of his peers, the trust of his teammates, and 5 Stanley Cup rings that speak for themselves. Number 7. Glenn Hall, the man who never took a day off. Before load management and backup goalies were a thing, there was Glenn Hall, a guy who played 502 games in a row. As a goalie, without missing a single one. That's not just impressive, that's insane. People called him Mr. Goalie for a reason. He played most of his career with the Chicago Blackhawks and was one of the first to use the butterfly style, dropping to his knees to cover the bottom of the net. This was way before it became the norm. In many ways, Glenn Hall was doing future stuff in the past. Here's something wild. He used to throw up before every game. Nerves, stress, pressure. It didn't matter. He'd puke, put on his pads, and then go out and dominate. He won 3 Vezina trophies, helped the Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup in 1961, and was the very first Conn Smythe winner in 1968. Even though his team lost the final, he was sharp, tough, and completely reliable. You knew what you were getting with Glenn Hall. No drama, no excuses, just elite goaltending night after night after night. Number 6, Jacques Plante, the man who changed hockey forever. Before Jacques Plante came along, NHL goalies didn't wear masks. That's not a joke. They faced full-speed slap shots with nothing but their bare faces. But in 1959, after taking a puck straight to the face, Plante returned to the game wearing a mask, and he never took it off again. Coaches hated it at first. Then they realized, yeah, this might be a smart move, but Plante wasn't just the guy in the mask. He was an innovator, a champion, a legend. He won 6 Stanley Cups with the Montreal Canadiens and took home 7 Vezina trophies along the way. He wasn't just playing the position, he was redefining it. He was one of the first goalies to leave his crease, skate behind the net, and help move the puck. Something every goalie does now. That started with Plante. He was a thinker, a tinkerer, and a competitor through and through. He had a thin frame, a high-pitched voice, and didn't look like your typical athlete. But he had razor-sharp reflexes and a mind made for the game. He once said, "Only a goalie can appreciate what a goalie goes through." And he lived it, playing through pain, pressure, and expectations, and still finding ways to win. Jacques Plante didn't just stop pucks. He changed what it meant to be a goalie, forever. Number 5, Ken Dryden, the goalie who showed up late and still dominated. Ken Dryden didn't follow the usual path. He finished college first, then joined the Montreal Canadiens with just a few games left in the season. But when the playoffs started, they gave him the net, and all he did was beat the mighty Boston Bruins and win the Stanley Cup. He hadn't even played a full season yet, but he won the Conn Smythe as playoff MVP. That set the tone for his career. Dryden played only 8 seasons, but won 6 Stanley Cups. That's not a typo. 6 cups in 8 years. Most players don't win that in their dreams. He wasn't flashy or loud. He was smart, calm, and always in the right place. Opponents used to say it felt like he was just standing there, waiting for the puck to hit him. But that was the trick. He was always one step ahead. Dryden also took a full year off during his prime to finish law school. And when he came back, he picked up right where he left off. Not many athletes can do that. After retiring early, he became an author, a lawyer, and even a politician. Ken Dryden didn't just win games. He made greatness look easy. Number 4, Terry Sawchuk, the warrior in the net. Terry Sawchuk might have been the toughest goalie ever. He played most of his career without a mask and took shot after shot to the face, chest, and legs, and just kept getting back up. By the end of his career, he had over 600 stitches in his face. When a sculptor made a mask shaped from all his injuries, it didn't look real, but it was. He played for 21 seasons and won 4 Stanley Cups, mostly with the Detroit Red Wings. At one point, he held the NHL records for most wins and most shutouts, records that stood for decades. He was a 3-time Vezina winner and was known for being unbeatable when locked in. Off the ice, life wasn't easy for Sawchuk. He battled injuries, depression, and personal struggles, but inside the crease, he was all business. Teammates said he was quiet, intense, and always prepared. He didn't smile much, but he didn't have to. His play did all the talking. Terry Sawchuk gave everything to the game. His time, his body, and his health. And even now, long after he's gone, his legacy is still standing tall in hockey history. Number 3, Patrick Roy, the king of clutch. If you needed one goalie to win you a Game 7, you picked Patrick Roy. No question. He was loud, confident, and sometimes even cocky, but he backed it all up. Roy won 4 Stanley Cups and was named playoff MVP 3 times, more than any other goalie in NHL history. He started with the Montreal Canadiens, where he became a legend almost overnight. In 1986, as a 20-year-old rookie, he carried the team to a cup win. He played with fire, shouting at teammates, chirping back at trash talk, even staring down shooters before they let the puck fly. He wasn't just trying to stop the puck. He was trying to live rent-free in your head. Later, with the Colorado Avalanche, Roy kept doing what he did best, winning. He helped the Avs lift the cup twice and made massive saves in the biggest moments. And who could forget the night he got pulled in Montreal, marched up to the coach and said he'd never play for the Canadiens again. He meant it, and he was traded soon after. The Habs never really recovered. Roy played with emotion, swagger, and ice in his veins. He wasn't just a goalie, he was a one-man show. Number 2, Dominik Hasek, the dominator who broke all the rules. Watching Dominik Hasek was like watching someone play goalie in a video game. He'd flop, twist, dive, and kick, and somehow the puck just wouldn't go in. His style made no sense, but it worked. He didn't care about looking smooth, he only cared about stopping the puck. Hasek won 6 Vezina trophies and 2 Hart trophies as league MVP, and that's almost unheard of for a goalie. He carried the Buffalo Sabres for years, regularly facing 40 or 50 shots a night and still giving them a chance to win. In 1998, he helped lead the Czech Republic to Olympic gold, taking down Canada and Russia with one of the most iconic goaltending runs in history. Later in his career, he joined the Detroit Red Wings and finally won the Stanley Cup twice. He wasn't big, he wasn't textbook, but his flexibility, speed, and pure instinct were off the charts. Hasek could stop a puck with his blocker, his toe, or even his back if he had to, and fans loved every second of it. Dominik Hasek didn't just play goalie, he reinvented it. Number 1. Martin Brodeur, the goalie who did it all. No one in NHL history has more wins than Martin Brodeur. Not Patrick Waugh, not Dominik Hasek, not anyone. He finished his career with 691 wins, over 100 shutouts, and 3 Stanley Cups. He didn't just play the most, he won the most. Brodeur spent almost his entire career with the New Jersey Devils, where he became the face of the franchise. He wasn't just good in net, he was smart with the puck too. He'd leave the crease, play the puck like a defenseman, and flip defense into offense. He was so good at it, the league literally changed the rules to limit how far goalies could roam behind the net. That's how much of a problem he caused for opponents. In the late 90s and early 2000s, the Devils were a defense-first machine, and Brodeur was the backbone. Calm, quick, always in position, he made the hardest saves look routine. He played 70-plus games a season for years without burning out. A true workhorse, and he was clutch. Whether it was a Stanley Cup final or an Olympic gold medal game, Brodeur delivered. He helped Team Canada win gold in both 2002 and 2010, showing he could dominate on any stage. What made him special wasn't just the numbers, it was how he stayed elite for 2 full decades. Even in his late 30s, teams still circled their calendars when they had to face Brodeur. Martin Brodeur didn't just master the position, he redefined it. He's the gold standard for what it means to be a goalie. If you enjoyed this countdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more hockey stories just like this. It helps a lot, and there's plenty more coming your way. Thanks for watching.